Hey guys, tonight we begin with something a little darker. The story of ancient Egypt's great pyramids and the workers who built them. Forget the slave imagery Hollywood sold you. The truth was so brutal, you probably wouldn't last a single day. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here, and let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. 4,500 years later, archaeologists still can't fully solve how the pyramids were built. But they know one thing for certain. Beneath the construction site lie mass graves containing thousands of workers. You would have been one of them. You wake before the sun even appears on the horizon. The humid breeze from the Nile River creates a shiver across your bare skin. There's no concept of time, only the position of the sun. And that sun is your master. On the Giza plateau, beneath the shadow of the massive pyramids, you're already on your feet like thousands of others. Because if you're late, you don't just get beaten, you lose your barley ration for the day. You're 16 years old. Your name might be Waset, meaning born in Ra. Maybe Tahotep, meaning Ptah is satisfied. But nobody cares. You're just a number. One of 20,000 workers at Giza. And every day that number gets smaller. Around you, young men like yourself are waking up. Most are Egyptian peasants, but some are Nubian prisoners, some debtors, some refugees fleeing from hunger. They all share one thing: desperation. Because working on the Great Pyramid construction isn't about living. People come here to die. Your shelter, calling it a shelter, is generous. You sleep with 20 people in a mud brick hut that's 3 meters wide with a reed roof. The floor is bare earth. There's no such thing as a bed, just old linen fabric scraps. And those fabrics are stained with the sweat, blood, and other secretions of countless bodies. Throughout the night, the coughing never stopped. Stone dust has filled everyone's lungs. Old Amenhotep has been spitting blood since last night. Young Thutmose has wounds on his body from falling stone fragments. And Katie in the corner is trying to sleep while shivering with malaria fever. Outside the shelter, darkness still covers the Giza plateau. But in the distance, in the dawn light, you can see those massive structures. The unfinished Great Pyramid has reached 100 meters in height. The final target is 146 meters. And you're here to die building that 46-meter difference. Your first task is to get breakfast. You walk toward the food depot, barefoot on cold sand. Sharp stone fragments pierce the soles of your feet. Your foot soles have already formed calluses, but they still hurt. At the depot, the Egyptian official distributing food frowns when he sees you. You again, Waset. I heard you work slowly on the ramps yesterday. He hits your shoulder with his staff. You'd better be faster today. Your breakfast. In a large bowl, barley flour mixed with boiling water. The consistency is like watery mud. Some onions, and if you're very lucky, a few dates. Protein? Only on feast days, and even then it's usually rotten fish. Water? Brought from the Nile, but that water also carries the remnants of thousands of people, animals, and dead workers. As you take the bowl, the color of the liquid inside disturbs you, brownish, foamy, and giving off a strange smell. But hunger is stronger than disgust. You start drinking in large gulps. The taste, indescribable, bitter, sour, and occasionally you chew hard particles. Bug or stone fragment, you can't tell. It doesn't matter, because today, you need this energy to work for 12 hours. Sitting next to you, old Seneb started working on pyramid construction when he was your age. Now he's 25, but looks 50. His face is cracked from sun damage. Most of his teeth have fallen out. His left arm was severed when it got caught under a falling stone block. "You know, boy," he says to you, "when I first came, I was as hopeful as you. I thought I'd last 2 years, earn some money, and return to my village." There's deep exhaustion in his eyes. "It's been 9 years. My village doesn't even exist anymore. Everyone migrated due to drought." Seneb's words create a cold weight in your stomach. But there's no time to think, because from the distance, the sound of large drums is coming. Time to start work. As you finish your breakfast, you see massive stone blocks around you. Each weighs 2.5 tons. Some weigh 15 tons. No modern cranes, no forklifts, not even wheels. Just rough rope, wooden sledges, and people like you. Lots of people. Your first task today is to prepare sledges to transport the massive granite blocks brought from the Aswan quarry to the pyramid construction site. The distance is about 800 meters. Sounds simple, right? The only problem is that block weighs 150 times more than you do. First, you start building the sledge. Thick cedar logs, specially brought from Lebanon. These logs are worth more than your family's annual income. If you lose one, you don't just get beaten that day, you also get a week without food. You're on a 10-person team to position the logs. Some of the logs are 5 meters long and weigh 200 kilos. To position these, you use special lifting techniques. But by techniques, I mean primitive systems made with simple materials. While trying to lift the first log, your finger gets caught between the log and the ground. Pain shoots from your spine to your brain. You scream, but nobody stops. Because stopping means the entire team gets punished. Your finger starts swelling. The bone might be broken. But there's no medical help, just the experience of older workers. "Put mud on it, wrap it tight," one says. "In 2 weeks, it'll either heal or rot." By noon, the first phase of the sledges is complete. But the real work is just beginning. Placing the massive granite block on the sledge. With a 40-person team, you tie thick ropes around the block. The rope is made from rough hemp fibers. When your hands touch it, the fibers pierce your skin, but you have to hold tight. The size of the block overwhelms you. 4 meters long, 2 meters wide, 1.5 meters high, and 15 tons in weight. The hieroglyphic inscriptions on it show this stone was specially cut for the ceiling of King Khufu's burial chamber. The rope tying process alone takes 2 hours, because if tied incorrectly, the rope could break during transport, and a 15-ton block moving uncontrollably kills everyone nearby. When the tying is finished, your hands are bleeding. The rope fibers have pierced your palms, but you're still at the beginning. Now, greased round logs are placed under the sledge. These logs will allow the sledge to slide, but they're also very dangerous. Because if positioned incorrectly, the sledge can go out of control. And then you start pulling. 40 people, hanging onto ropes, pulling the entire weight with their own bodies. The first movement is the hardest. Due to inertia, the block doesn't want to start moving. "Heave!" the team leader shouts. "Heave!" You all pull at the same time. Veins bulge, faces turn red, feet slip, and finally, the block starts moving. Slow, very slow, step by step, meter by meter. As the sun rises higher, your skin has already started burning. No sunscreen, no hat, just a linen loincloth and bare skin. The Nile Delta's humidity is 80%. Temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. And you're pulling a massive stone block. The first hour, everyone is energetic, hanging onto ropes, pulling rhythmically. The team leader even starts singing marches. "Ra protects us," "Khufu sees us," "Egypt forever," and such. In the second hour, several people start fainting. The sun is overhead. Temperature has risen to 45 degrees. Thirst is cracking lips, but there's no water break, because stopping means the block loses momentum. Young Horace, 14 years old, drops the rope and collapses. Heat stroke. His friends carry him to the shadow of the sledge, unconscious, breathing but very weakly, and nobody stops. Because if one person is missing, the others have to pull more. In the third hour, old Imhotep collapses, clutching his chest, can't breathe. Heart attack. His eyes roll back. He takes his last breath. You leave him next to the block because stopping means the entire team gets punished. In the fourth hour, disaster strikes. The rope breaks. In that moment, you feel time stop. The 15-ton granite block starts sliding back due to momentum, back toward where you and your friends are. Run, you shout. But 40 people are tangled in ropes. Running isn't easy. The block rolls uncontrollably. It flies off the sledge and crushes 5 people standing behind you. You hear bone crunching, screams, then sudden silence. Blood mixes with sand. The crushed bodies become unrecognizable, but nobody stops, because stopping means more death. Overseer Senenmut waves his whip in the air. Keep working. Anyone who stops will be underneath too. New rope is brought. Dead bodies are removed from under the sledge. Families aren't notified. They'll just be thrown into mass graves, and you continue pulling. Evening comes. The block finally reaches the pyramid base. It took 8 hours. 5 people died. You're also on the verge of death. But the work isn't finished. Now you need to place it on the pyramid. Here the ramp system comes into play. From the narrow wooden ramps built spiraling around the pyramid, you'll carry that massive block upward. The ramp width is only 3 meters. Slope is 20%. A 50-meter drop on the left, pyramid wall on the right. One wrong step and you roll down. The construction of the ramps is also a separate torture. Cedar beams, secured with limestone supports. But these ramps constantly need repair, because they carry dozens of tons of weight. 40 people squeezed onto the narrow ramp, pushing a massive block upward. The breath of the man behind you on your neck. Sweat drops from the man in front falling on your face. And below, a deadly cliff. Walking on the ramp alone is dangerous. The wooden beams creak under load. Some places have collapsed and been hastily patched. Stepping in the wrong place means the ramp collapses. In the first 20 meters, no problems. The block climbs slowly but steadily. Everyone holds their breath, moving with careful steps. But when you reach 30 meters, the ramp starts swaying. One of the support beams underneath cracks. The cracking sound echoes in your ears. Suddenly, the man in front slips. You don't understand why. Maybe fatigue, maybe lack of attention. But on the ramp, he's sliding toward destruction. Panic. The block starts sliding backward. 15 tons of weight starting to pull back. If it goes out of control, not just that man, but everyone on the ramp will die. Everyone tightens the ropes, you too. But this time, it's not just burning. The rope is tearing your skin. Blood flows. But you can't let go, because if you do, everyone dies. Hold on, shouts the team leader. Hold on to death. You brace your feet against the ramp planks and pull. Your knees start trembling. Back muscles cramp, but you have to stop the block. Slowly, the block stops. But while it was sliding, 3 people lost their balance and fell into the abyss. You hear their bones cracking as they fall. Their voices echo from 50 meters below. Then silence. By midnight, the block is finally positioned. 50 meters high, a new layer of the Great Pyramid. You're completely exhausted. Your muscles are cramping. Your hands are bloody. Your skin is blistered from sun damage. You're swallowing your tongue from thirst. Dinner? Barley flour again. This time with rotten fish pieces too. The smell of the fish is bad enough to make you vomit. But you eat it, because you need energy for tomorrow. You swallow while your stomach churns. With every bite, Pieces of rotten meat stick in your teeth. A disgusting taste stays on your palate for hours. But this is protein. And without protein, you can't work tomorrow. Sleep time. Not in barracks, but in the open air, on sand. Your only blanket is a thin linen cloth. At night, the temperature drops to 10 degrees. In the desert, the day-night temperature difference is huge. You're cold, but you can't move because your muscles are seized. Back muscles, arm muscles, leg muscles, all in pain. Around you, coughing sounds. Stone dust is destroying lungs. With every breath, fine limestone particles enter the lungs. Slowly, the lungs turn to stone. A disease called silicosis, and it's deadly. Most workers die from lung disease before age 25. You'll be one of them too. Kenty, lying next to you, coughs constantly, spitting blood. When he breathes, wheezing sounds come from his chest. "How many years have you been here?" you ask. 7 years, he says. "I was 16 when I first came. Now I'm 23. But if a doctor told me I was 50, I'd believe it." You look at him. He really does look 50. His hair is grayed. His face is wrinkled. His body is skin and bones. "So why didn't you leave? Didn't you have work in your village?" Kenty makes a bitter smile. "I tried to leave. But I have a contract. 10 years. If I run away, they'll find me and bring me back. And as punishment, they'll add 5 more years." Your insides shiver. A 10-year contract? You don't even know how many years you signed. Since you can't read or write, you couldn't read your contract. You just left a fingerprint. When you wake in the morning, the man next to you is dead. Kenty, the man you talked to last night. Heart attack, or lung disease, or just exhaustion. You don't care. Because today, a new block awaits you. 2 people drag Kenty's body away by the feet. Not to a grave, but to a pit. Giant pits around the pyramid. Inside, the bones of thousands of workers. Kenty will join them too. But you notice someone else in his place. Young Amenemhib has started shivering with malaria fever. His face is pale, lips purple. Malaria, the curse of the Nile Delta. It comes with mosquitoes. "Can you work?" you ask. "I have to work," he says. "If I don't work, no food." And he really does work. With fever, with trembling legs, pulling massive stone blocks. He faints at noon, dies in the evening too. This continues like this, day by day, week by week, month by month. The pyramid slowly rises, you slowly die. Your peers start disappearing one by one. Accidents, diseases, exhaustion. People are constantly changing. New workers come, old ones die. You're now considered old. It's been 6 months here. That's a long time. When you reach 20, you're considered very old. You can no longer pull heavy blocks. They assign you to small stone-carrying jobs. Then to material transport. Then just to water carrying. Your body is now unrecognizable, deeply cracked from sun damage. Your hair has grayed. Most of your teeth have fallen out. Your left shoulder is dislocated from carrying heavy blocks. You look at your hands. 4 years ago, smooth young hands. Now, covered with thick callus layers. Your fingers are crooked. Your nails are cracked. Worst of all, your lungs. You cough constantly. With each cough, blood has started coming. Breathing has become torture. At night while sleeping, you wake up feeling like you're suffocating. At 25, your lungs fail. You can no longer work. And for workers who can't work, there's only one place: the pit. But first, the disease process. For days, you lie in a corner of the barracks. Nobody cares for you. Because disease is contagious. Alone, in pain, you wait for death. In your final days, you start seeing hallucinations. From fever. You see your mother. You see your village. Those beautiful days from your childhood. But reality is very different. Naked, in filth, you're dying at the edge of a pit. Nobody will remember your name. Nobody will tell your story. Giant pits around the pyramid. Inside, the bones of thousands of workers. You'll join them too. Your name will be forgotten. You'll have no gravestone. Just a pile of bones in a mass grave. As you take your last breath, you turn your eyes to the pyramids. Those massive structures rose on your blood, on your sweat, on your pain, because you were the secret ingredient of the Great Pyramid. Not stone, but blood. Not cement, but sweat. And the pyramid rose on your bones. 4,500 years later, tourists look at the pyramids with admiration. How did they do it? They ask. How advanced they were. They marvel. But nobody asks, how many people died? How many families were destroyed? How many young people suffocated from lung disease? Archaeologists discovered mass graves around the pyramid, thousands of skeletons, most young men. Most died from disease. Most decayed from physical torture. The skeletons show bone diseases, spines deformed from carrying heavy loads, broken ribs, dislocated joints, and most commonly, death related to lung disease. Radiological examinations show the workers' average age was 25.25. In the modern world, the prime of life. In ancient Egypt, the end for a pyramid worker. No names are known, no stories preserved, just bones and archaeological findings. You were one of those bones. Kamwaset, born in Ra. But Ra didn't protect you. Instead, you died under the burning rays of the sun. But if you think pyramid construction was the worst job in the ancient world, wait until you hear about Roman mining. Deep beneath the Spanish mountains, in the gold mines of Las Medullas, thousands of slaves descended into darkness every morning. Most never saw sunlight again. If being a pyramid worker in Egypt was hell, working in Rome's gold mines was even worse. Because here, you couldn't even see sunlight. Your name is no longer Marcus. Slave number 847. You've been sold to the Las Medullas gold mines in northern Spain. You're 19 years old. But here, most people don't live longer than 2 years. You wake up at 4 a.m., 2 hours before sunrise. But the sun no longer matters to you, because you might never see it again. Breakfast? Sour bread and hot water. That's it. As a slave, you're only fed enough to stay alive. Anything more is a waste of resources. The miners' barracks are no different from underground. Stone walls, humid air, no windows. 50 people sleep on wooden shelves. Disease spreads quickly. Last night, 3 people died. From lung disease or just exhaustion. And now, the most terrifying part begins. You walk toward the mine entrance. The mine entrance looks like the mouth of the earth. Dark, deep, and cold air coming out of it. Most people who enter here never come out again. In your hand, your only tools. Short-handled pickaxe, small shovel, and oil lamp. No modern technology, just raw strength and luck. The mine is 200 meters deep. To descend, you use narrow, slippery wooden ladders. Every step could be rotten. If you fall, you roll all the way down. And below, stone floor and death await you. As you descend, breathing becomes difficult. Air gets thinner. Oxygen decreases. Your head starts spinning. But there's no stopping. Because behind you, guards with whips are following. 50 meters down, complete darkness. Only the flickering light of your lamp. And that light runs out very quickly. If the oil finishes, you're left in darkness. And being left in darkness means getting lost. 100 meters deep, you encounter water. Underground water seep into mine tunnels. Water up to your ankles. Cold, murky, and contaminated with who knows what. 200 meters deep, you finally reach the excavation area. Here, you search for gold veins. But finding gold is less important than staying alive. Your work area is a tunnel 2 meters wide. The wooden beams supporting the ceiling are rotten and unreliable. They could collapse at any moment, and when they do, they can bury you alive. Gold is hidden inside quartz rocks. To break these rocks, you dig for hours. Every blow cuts your hands. Every movement fills your lungs with dust. But worst of all, mercury. Mercury is used to separate gold, and mercury slowly kills you. First headaches, then trembling, then mental disorders, and finally, death. Mercury vapors accumulate in closed tunnels. With every breath, poison enters your lungs. After 6 months, your teeth start falling out. After 1 year, your hair turns gray. After 2 years, you die. Inside the tunnel, you're not alone. You work as a team of 10. But every day, this number decreases. Cave-ins, mercury poisoning, or just exhaustion. Yesterday, young Gaius was caught under a cave-in. Stone blocks fell on him. Screams, then silence. We tried to get him out, but it was too late. We left his body in the mine depths and moved on. The mine's greatest fear, flooding. Underground waters can suddenly fill mine tunnels. And then, there's nowhere to run. That day, you hear unusual sounds. Noise coming from very far away, like the sound of a giant waterfall. But there's no waterfall here. "Water's coming," shouts old Lucius. "Everyone out." Panic. From 200 meters deep, you try to climb out with narrow ladders. But 10 people can't climb out at the same time. Pushing, falling, trampling, you start feeling water at your feet. Cold, rising rapidly. Up to your knees, to your waist. And you're still 150 meters deep. The ladder is slippery. Hands trembling. Every step is the difference between death and life. Behind you, the sound of water getting closer. 100 meters. Water reached your waist. Breathing is difficult. Panic squeezes your lungs. 50 meters. Water at your chest. But the ladder is still long. And above, other workers are also trying to climb out. When you finally reach the surface, you look back. The mine is completely underwater, and 3 of your friends drowned in that water. Mine workers' greatest enemy, lung disease. You constantly breathe stone dust. Quartz particles accumulate in the lungs. Gradually, you become unable to breathe. First symptoms, coughing, constant disturbing cough. Then blood starts coming. Lungs start bleeding internally. After 6 months, breathing becomes torture. Every breath feels like swallowing glass fragments. At night while sleeping, you wake up feeling like you're suffocating. After 1 year, you can no longer do heavy work. They assign you to light stone-carrying jobs, but your wages decrease. Because you're not productive. When mercury poisoning is added, your body completely collapses. Teeth fall out, hair turns gray, hands tremble, mind becomes clouded. After 2 years, you can no longer work. And for slaves who can't work, there's only one place, the death pit. At Las Medullas, there's no such thing as a slave cemetery, just giant pits. Inside, thousands of worker corpses. You'll be thrown there too. In your final days, you lie by the mine edge, you can't breathe, your lungs are filled with stone dust. Mercury has clouded your mind. Nobody cares about you. Because you're just a slave, number 847. Even your name doesn't matter. As you take your last breath, you turn your eyes to the gold mine. That mine was worked with your blood, excavated with your pain. The wealth of the Roman Empire was built on your bones. Gold was extracted with your death, and nobody will remember your name. 2,000 years later, tourists visit Las Medullas. How interesting, they say. How clever the Romans were. They marvel, but nobody asks, how many slaves died? How many young people suffocated from lung disease? How many families were destroyed? Archaeologists discovered mass graves around the mine. Thousands of skeletons. Most young men. Most died from lung disease. Most deformed from mercury poisoning. You extracted Rome's gold. Not Marcus, but slave number 847. But nobody knows your story. And finally, we journey to ancient China, where the world's greatest wall was built not with stone and mortar, but with human bones. They say for every stone placed in the Great Wall, a worker died. And they're not wrong. If Rome's gold mines were hell, the construction of the Great Wall was even more merciless. Because here, you didn't just die. You became part of the wall. Literally. Your name is Li Wei. You're 20 years old. By order of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, you were forcibly taken from your village. Your crime? Nothing. You just had strong arms. The year is 220 AD. The giant wall protecting China's northern border stretches for thousands of kilometers. And you're here to build a section of that wall, to die. In the work camp, there are 50,000 workers, peasants, soldiers, prisoners, war captives, all sharing the same fate: complete the wall or die. Most do both. Your shelter is pits dug from earth. Inside, 20 people lie side by side, no blankets, just thin reed covers. At night, temperature drops to minus 20 degrees. In the morning, 2 to 3 people next to you are frozen. The construction of the Great Wall begins with carrying stones, but these stones don't come from nearby like in the pyramids. The nearest quarry is 50 kilometers away, and you'll carry those stones on your back. Every morning, you climb mountains in groups of 100, altitude 3,000 meters. Air is thin, breathing is difficult, but you must carry stones. One stone block weighs 80 kilos. You weigh 50 kilograms, so you're carrying 1.5 times your own weight on your back for 50 kilometers. No roads, just mountain slopes, rocky passages, deep valleys. Every step flirts with death. If you slip, you roll into the abyss. The stone falls on you, and nobody stops. First 10 kilometers, everyone is strong. Second 10 kilometers, elderly start collapsing. Third 10 kilometers, young people also fall. Fourth 10 kilometers, only the strongest remain. Last 10 kilometers, hell. Your feet are bleeding, your back is cracked, your shoulders are crushed. But you can't give up, because if you do, guards will whip you to death. After bringing the stones, the real work begins. Building the wall. But the Great Wall isn't an ordinary wall. It's a giant structure 8 meters high, 6 meters wide. Foundation digging is done in frozen ground. Winter season. Ground is hard as iron. Pickaxe blows make your hands bleed. But you must continue digging. No cement. The wall is held together with earth, sand, and human blood. Literally. Worker deaths are so numerous that corpses are buried inside the wall. The technique called human mortar. Corpses of dead workers are used in wall filling because there's no time to dig graves, and corpses strengthen the wall. You too will be one of those corpses one day. Stone laying is the most dangerous part. You work at 8 meters height on narrow edges. Abyss below, snowstorm above, and 50-kilo stone blocks in your hands. The reason for building the Great Wall: to stop the Mongols. But Mongol raiders attack during construction. And then, you're not just a worker, you become a warrior too. Night watches. In darkness you listen for enemy sounds. Horse hooves, distant shouts. The Mongols are coming. You have no weapons, just pickaxe and stones, not very useful against Mongol cavalry. During attack, you climb onto the wall. From there, you throw stones. But Mongol arrows target you. Your friend next to you gets hit by an arrow and falls down. After the attack, death count. Every attack, 100 to 200 workers die. New workers are brought, and construction continues. The greatest enemy in Great Wall construction: hunger. Food supply comes from very distant villages. And in winter, roads close. Your daily ration: one bowl of rice gruel, some radish. That's it. Working 12 hours, this is the only meal. Hunger slowly melts your body. First few weeks, you just lose weight. Then muscles melt. Then brain stops working. Starving workers eat everything: fresh soil, tree bark, even the flesh of dead friends. In winter months, cold is even more deadly. -30 degrees, snowstorm, and you're carrying stones outside. Frostbite starts at fingertips first, then moves to toes. Then hands and feet completely freeze. They have to be cut off. But workers with severed limbs continue working too, because those who don't work are killed. After 1 year, your time to die has come. Your body can no longer endure. Hunger, cold, exhaustion, all together. Your last job: burying dead friends inside the wall. Ironically, after burying them, you'll join them. Dead workers disappear inside the wall. Their bones enter the wall's foundation, and the wall rises on them. You too don't wake up one morning. Your heart stops. From hunger and cold, your body is frozen. Your friends bury you inside the wall too. Your name is forgotten. Your story disappears. You just become part of the wall. The Great Wall wasn't built with stone and brick. It was built with human bones, including your bones. 2,000 years later, tourists admire the Great Wall. The world's greatest structure, they say. But nobody knows that for every meter of wall, one worker died. Total: 400,000 dead workers, most 20 to 25-year-old young men. Most died from hunger, cold, exhaustion. You, Li Wei, are one of those 400,000. But your name isn't written anywhere, because you live inside the wall forever. And that brings us to the end of our journey tonight. 3 stories of ordinary people who built extraordinary monuments with their blood, sweat, and lives. The pyramids, the Roman mines, the Great Wall, they all stand as testaments not just to human achievement, but to human sacrifice. Sweet dreams, and remember, you're living in a time when survival doesn't require dying for someone else's monument.